why we found our way to the one place that every rider wants to end up, the podium. This is the Thundersport500 Championship 2016.
Welcome to Donington Park then, it's the Crank Racing Thundersport500s. We have got a championship on here in the Thundersport500 Championship. Joe Barton, the reigning champion, #1, and Ryan Vickers there, coming into this weekend, split by 60 points. 50 points now after yesterday, because Ryan Vickers won both races here at Donington. Barton finished second in both of them, so 50 between them. But it's not just about those two here. A full grid of Thundersport500s. If you've not watched this before, sit back and enjoy. Jodie Chalk there, second. She's been going brilliantly of late. A few spots of rain do I see there as they pull away from the line, heading down towards turn 1 at Redgate Corner. And it is Joe Barton looking to just try and go up the inside in the early stages. Full grid here then, as ever, of Thundersport500s. You just saw there Lara Small, number 67, Mark Robinson as well. But it's Jodie Chalk that has the lead from Joe Barton. On board with Jodie now as she flies down through Craner Curves. Joe Barton just goes up the inside of her into the old hairpin. In the background there, looks like Ryan Vickers just losing a spot into 4th place. Vickers has got to try and do what he did yesterday, get himself ahead of Joe Barton and close that gap down so he's within touching distance going into the finals round of the season. It's a welcome return back to this championship for this weekend as well to 121. Josh Leaning, probably the brightest bike out there. You can see him just up ahead of us now. Dave Grace moves up a place, and directly in front of us then the blue and yellow machine of Josh Leaning. You just saw there Richard Blunt's out there, James Butcher. Blunt is 13, Butcher number 108. Richard Molnar's out racing, number 125, and Lewis Osler that we're on board with now, number 82. These names, if you've watched this championship for the last few years, all very familiar to you, and brilliant racing as ever in the Thundersport500s as Lewis Osler here goes up alongside Dave Grace and moves up a place. Barton leads then from Barton and Vickers, so Vickers has now got himself back up. Just there we can see going through is John O'Toole as well. John certainly knows his way around this place, so brilliant to see these guys all having a good scrap early doors. Joe Barton in the place where he wants to be. Ryan Vickers knows that he can't afford to finish behind Joe Barton really anymore, because if Joe Barton takes any more than a 50-point advantage into Cadwell Park, then Vickers will have a mountain to climb at the mountain. There is Osler and Dave Grace, number 31, just going through your picture. There is Nick Cliff. Nice to see Nick back in this championship as well. He once a regular and coming back to play every once in a while. And we like Nick, and not just because he's a Tottenham fan. He's a generally jolly nice fella off circuit as well. So nice to see Nick here racing. There you see Dave Moss, number 17. Dave Moss currently leading in the Senior Cup. We have the Freshmans, of course, out there racing. The Freshmans for riders that are new to the sport, and the Senior Cup riders that are anything but. Here we go then, as they make their way up into Coppice Corner. Joe Barton here coming out in front, but Jodie Chalk just coming under a bit of pressure from Ryan Vickers. Bit of a gap then back to number 88, Reese Hutchinson, who I've not mentioned yet. He's having a great race and has had a good couple of rounds. He's racing with Josh Leaning. Can those two come up to join these three? We're on board here with Ryan Vickers now as he tries to make a move past Jodie. Jodie has a cheeky look to her right, and she'll see Ryan now, who might just attempt the block past, but there's not enough room there for now. The three of them go through. Incredible to see these guys as ever racing. Sid's here with me in the commentary box. Just quickly, Sid, Jodie Chalk, Reese Hutchinson, classic examples of riders that have made massive leaps forward in this championship in 2016.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Jodie's done so well with this bike this year. I'm convinced that she's just found the right bike for her, that she feels in charge of, instead of it in charge of her. And she's gone from strength to strength. And the same with Reese, actually. I mean, it has to be said, yes, of course, you're dead right.
We've seen it so many times before. Joe Barton himself, of course, spent a couple of years just getting to grips with things before then pouncing Ryan Vickers came on strong at times when he visited us a few times last season. Jodie Chalk, perhaps a name to pencil in for next season in the championship, if indeed she stays put, as Ryan Vickers here. Oh, just finds that inside line, tries to sneak underneath Jodie. Doesn't quite work out for her. Jo Barton there out in front for now, probably unaware of what's going on behind. Now that looks like Josh Leaning's closed that gap down a bit as well. Further back we just saw their number 4 leading this pack, Tony Wastenich. Nice to see Tony back out. There's a name that certainly brings back a few memories.
That is a blast from the past. I couldn't believe it when I saw him.
Nice to see Tony racing out there then in the Thundersport 500s. We saw there Chris Satchwell as well, one of the Senior Cup riders who needs to try and close on Cole Mooney and Dave Moss overall in the Senior Cup Championship. Now then, Ryan Vickers has got it stuck this time, has he? Or not? Up the inside he goes of Jodie Chalk, and Josh Leaning is closing in on this group. The 6-wheel fight at the front could become 8 very, very quickly, and Reese Hutchinson is a million miles off him either. So around Goddard as we go. Jo Barton, who's had a pretty quiet couple of laps so far, well, that might change any second now as we go across the line. We're on board with Ryan Vickers. He's in the slipstream of Jo Barton. He'll surely have a look up into Redgate. He does. He goes through, and Jo Barton's lead at the front is short-lived as Ryan Vickers goes through on him. These are the 2 guys fighting for this year's championship side by side. Further back, there's battles all the way through. We're with Lewis Osler here, number 82, who's just inside the top 10. He himself now getting in and out of the slipstream of Dave Grace on the left and moving up ahead of him. So Lewis Osler, no he doesn't, and there's somebody else coming into the party there as well. That's Richard Blunt, number 13, although me telling you his number is pretty pointless really, because it's the biggest bodge job I've ever seen. Richard Blunt on borrowed machine by the looks of things, and struggling to make a number 1 and a number 3 clear for us to see, but it definitely was him. At front, there you can see Jo Barton's gone underneath Ryan Vickers. We were on board there with Jodie Chalk, number 87 there in 3rd place. So she's got front row seats of the 2 riders that are fighting for the championship. I should just point out that it's not as if Jodie's just riding for pride herself. She has moved up into 3rd overall in this championship after a remarkable season. Really consistent, but it's just, of course, in the last few rounds that she's really come to prominence and fighting for podiums all of a sudden. So there we see Barton leading from Vickers. At the moment the gap 50 points between the 2 of them. Neither really wanting to give each other an inch on circuit, but they could both be gobbled up here shortly, because Jodie Chalk there is in 3rd, Josh Leaning's in 4th, and then Reese Hutchinson still just edging ever closer in 5th place. Brilliant racing as ever in the Crank Racing Thundersport 500s. Around Goddard's we go. Barton then onto the start-finish straight. He won't be able to get a move put on Ryan Vickers into Redgate this time around. He's not close enough, and now he's going to have to guard 2nd place. Look who's coming to the party. Josh Leaning. The Leaning brothers, of course, Josh and Will, once regulars in the top 3, 4, 5 of these races. Haven't been racing that much recently, but you wouldn't know it looking at Josh here. Really has got the bit between his teeth. There's James Butcher, 108, and Lou Osler. On board with Lou Osler, who's just got back past Butcher and is now homing in on Richard Blunt. No, he's not. Butcher's gone back past him again. This is the battle for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. So brilliantly done. In fact, that just goes to show you what life in the Thundersport 500 is like. You lose 1 place, you can lose 10. There's Dave Moss. Dave Moss at the moment is leading the seniors. He's in the overall points as well of this race. At the front, Vickers, number 321. Jo Barton, the champion, number 1. Here on board with Vickers. Barton goes through on him. Jodie Chalk and Josh Leaning are up just behind. As we tip into the foggy S's, Jodie Chalk almost deciding to chuck a Thundersport 500 underneath Ryan Vickers there into the foggy S's, and further back now we see Dave Grace, number 7, having a scrap with Richard Molnar, number 125. Up the inside he goes. The Butcher coming through as well, 27. Here's John O'Toole. That is a number 13 on Richard Blunt's bike, although it is the worst attempt at putting a number 13. I'll tell you what, Sid, you're going to have to tell him off for that. As we see here, they're all getting pretty scrappy into the Melbourne Loop. Brilliant racing as ever. Back to the front. It's Jo Barton and Ryan Vickers.
But why is... I can't get my head round why Joe Barton is racing so hard. He came into this round 60-point lead, for goodness sake. I mean, you'd think that he would just take it a bit easy, knowing that the championship, he had to miss a round or two, didn't he?
He did, yeah, but then I suppose with it having lost, he played second fiddle yesterday twice, as we see there, John O'Toole right in the middle of this big bunch. What a battle this is. At the end of this, someone's going to be really disappointed not to finish inside the top 10, but Joe Barton, going back to his situation as we ride with Dave Grace, is 50 points clear in this race. Maybe he just doesn't want to give Ryan Vickers that little bit of confidence going into Cadwell Park. You just never know. There is Richard Blunt having a good look over at John O'Toole as he goes past him, but then loses a place to James Butcher in the process. That's actually going to be almost impossible to keep up with and call that second battle, because there's about 6 riders just taking lumps out of each other. At the front, it's Vickers from Barton, and that's how it's been all weekend so far. Vickers looking for his 3rd win in 3 races, but Jodie Chalk and Josh Leading will not go away. Here is Jodie Chalk, sorry. She's now looking to go past the pair of them as we head into the Foggy S's, and Ryan Vickers has just been chopped down into 3rd place. Back with Ryan Vickers then as he pulls up alongside Jodie Chalk, and all of a sudden, from nowhere, Joe Barton's got a bit of breathing space.
But Josh is in 4th, but he ain't mincing.
No, he's not mincing about today. He means business. He wants to try and get himself on that podium. There's a back marker there. You won't want to get in the middle of this lot. Move aside, say the leaders. Joe Barton. You just get the feeling, don't you, by the way that Barton and Vickers are fighting here, that neither one of them really is going to be content with second place.
The trouble is that Ryan's got into winning ways and he doesn't want anything else. Anything else is going to disappoint him, I believe.
There's Blunt going up the inside of Osler. These guys, remember, this is the second battle, the second group in this race. There it is, being led by Dave Grace in 5th place. Sorry, 4th? Yeah, 5th place. Just a couple of places behind this lot. There you can see that group we were on board with a moment ago. Osler's just lost a place there to O'Toole. There's number 194 and number 46. 194 Jordan Ashington up ahead of Chris Satchwell. Chris Satchwell, one of our many senior cup riders. In the Freshmen, by the way, Carl Chamley, I should just point out, at the moment, your race leader. Back to the front of the overall, Crack Racing Thundersport 500. It's a championship that, I think, well, technically speaking, it could be wrapped up here. If Barton was to win both races here today, Vickers was to fail to finish in both races, Barton could have it wrapped up, but it's unlikely that that's going to happen, surely. Here we go into the Foggy S's. Ryan Vickers it is now that has the lead from Joe Barton. Then it's Jodie Chalk and Josh Leading further back. This is the battle for 5th place. Dave Grace, number 7. 27, John O'Toole. 108, James Butcher. Up the inside comes number 13, Richard Blunt. Brilliant racing, as ever, in the Thundersport 500s. They're all looking to make up as many places as possible. How many riders are in this group? 8, 9 maybe? From 4th place back to, what, 11th, 12th?
But this is how it is all the way down the line. Even if you're right at the back, you'll be in a group of 5 or 6, battling just the same.
Here we go, then it's the last lap, and I don't think that Jodie Chalk and Josh Leading will have much to say here in this battle for the lead. Joe Barton sees the door open, and up the inside he goes. Ryan Vickers has to sit up. That's not the end of this one. They've got some tail enders coming up as well. The battle for 3rd rages on. Dave Grace at the moment just holding on to 5th for about half a second. James Butcher has a look one way. He gets pushed out wide. That's unfortunate for him as they now enter their last lap. But who will be victorious between Vickers and Barton? Things getting a bit personal at the front now of this championship. Joe Barton looking to retain the title. Ryan Vickers, the young pretender, looking to come in and snatch it away from the grasp of Joe Barton. Now up towards Coppice Corner. Running out of opportunities. Foggy S's it's got to be for Ryan Vickers.
Joe was pushing the front there. Did you see the front end jumping about there? And Ryan was glued to him. Look at this.
Up the inside goes Vickers. He had to pull the move off here. He had to use the slipstream to his advantage and has done. Barton will be wise now. He will try and sweep through the foggy S's and get some sort of drive down into the Melbourne Loop. We're running out of chances here. Barton, will he have a look up into the Melbourne Loop? Yes, he will. It's close. Oh, they almost touched there. One more chance then for Joe Barton. One more chance for Vickers. Further back, it looks like Chalk and Josh Leading are going to scrap for third into the Goddard. Oh, and they're clattered together.
No.
They've wiped each other out.
God.
The door was slightly open. Joe Barton there is waving his arms about. So is Vickers. And Josh Leading has picked up the spoils. He's won the race. Jodie Chalk is second. She's looking back saying, what on earth has gone on there? That means that other group now, Reese Hutchinson, sorry, I forgot about Reese. He's going to come across the line and take third. Drama here in Thundersport 500. Hutchinson takes third, O'Toole fourth, Dave Grace finishes fifth, and Richard Blunt in sixth. So the championship will stay 50 points between them. Can you believe it? The race winner here then, Josh Leaning. There he is. He'll take a trophy home with him. In the seniors, Dave Moss was victorious ahead of Chris Satchwell and Adrian Teasdale in the freshman. It was Carl Chamley from Sam Palfreman and Jordan Ashington.
Reese, where did that come from?
Well, I was running in fifth, so I think I was pretty lucky, to be honest. I was having a pretty lonely race, and all weekend I've been trying to get on the podium. And then in that one I was running on my own in fifth, and then the two leaders, I don't know what happened, but both went down in the last corner, but I'll take it anyway.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Lovely to see you on the podium. And have you got some sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just Hutchinson Transport, Hutchinson Technical Services, my brother, for helping me out all weekend. Yeah.
Wow, what a weekend. I mean, like, I've never seen you with so many smiles, Carl.
No, we're feeling comfortable this weekend after Angle, so you couldn't ask for anything better. So, no, this weekend we're hoping for some more podiums, and it's just been excellent.
Excellent, that's so well done. And I know it's a long trip for you all the way from Scotland, and so you must have some people you want to thank. I know one bloke in particular you want to thank.
Oh, definitely. I'll have to say hats off to my dad and the rest of the team for getting the bike together and getting us down here. Would not be here without them. Phil Dury this weekend, he's been brilliant, helped us out with a few things. Everybody at home, all my friends, yeah, thanks so much.
Josh Leaning, come here, you mincer. So you said to me beginning of the weekend, I'm fed up with mincing around in 5th and 6th. I'm going to have it this weekend, Sid, and you have.
Well, I thought I could only mince around in 4th then, to be honest. I was struggling a bit, but gifted it a bit in the end in our front two going down, but take the win. Happy to mince about though. So I'll probably be back to 5th in the next race, but we'll try again.
But you know what they say, to finish first you have to finish.
Yeah, I mean, Will and Pete hadn't turned up as well, so that's another 2 places I'd have been back, but we'll take it if they can't be bothered.
Well, of course, you're becoming famous with your videos on social media, Facebook and the like, so everybody's starting to get used to your face. It's nice to see you up here on the top step of the podium, but have you got anyone that you'd like to thank?
Yeah, can I thank Dave and Jackie at George Hogg, Nick at Overhaul, Shane Brocklehurst at Shane Brocklehurst Transport, Richard Connell of Richard Connell Conservatories. I think that's about it. And my mum and dad and all the family that come to support me. And cheers to you guys for watching.
Carl, I've seen quite a bit of you this weekend, haven't I?
Yeah, well, twice now. Yeah.
Excellent, you're enjoying it then?
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
So are you going to come back next year?
Oh, definitely. Could try to every round next year.
Excellent, that's perfect. And Carl, have you got anybody to thank?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Gem Speed Shop. They help me out loads, know my entries and stuff. Alexol for my van. Dave helps me out every meeting, Dave Nichols. And just friends and family. Danny's here this weekend helping me out because I'm on my own, so it's been good. And thanks to everyone for rebuilding my bike. So I did a few triple tails down Old Airpin yesterday, which wasn't right cracking, so they all cracked on and rebuilt my bike, so I'm back here now.
Dave, what a weekend you're having. In fact, what a season you're having, haven't you?
It's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't it? It's started off third, then in the seconds, now the first, and battling with Cole, and it's just fantastic. And I'm up with a pace with like the top 15 and that, and it's hard work trying to hang on to them though. It really is. Their pace is unreal.
Can you believe that the season's now coming to an end? We've got one more round.
I know, it's well, we've always got like December and January to go, but yeah, it's one more to go, Cadwell Park. Another race today, see how we go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that already. And people to thank.
Yeah, I'd like to thank JCM Engineering, the Doof Cafe, Susie and Nick, my dad, Warp Speed Motorcycles, Sandycroft Workwear, all everybody support me, and my girlfriend Cheryl, who's here with me.
We'll be back to continue the saga in the Thundersport 500s. Race 2 coming up next. Time for race 2, the Crank Racing Thundersport 500s. Well, jaw-dropping is all you can really say about race 1. 50 points between Joe Barton and this young man here, Ryan Vickers. And, well, it could have been 25 points for Ryan Vickers, but Joe Barton lost the front going into Goddard's and wiped out his championship rival. Jody Chalk here ended up finishing second. Here is Joe Barton, just showing you what happened. We already seen it, mate. We know exactly what happened in race 1 to Joe Barton, but in so many ways, he was quite lucky that he wiped out Ryan Vickers, and it's so unfortunate for Ryan, but it means that his 50-point lead is still intact. It could have been 25, but it's not. That's the way racing works sometimes. On board here with Jodie Chalk, who's got off to a flyer and will get the whole shot. She did that last time as well, really good off the line. Vickers is up to second this time, ahead of Joe Barton, so it's ding-ding, round 2 between those two boys, and I'm sure that Ryan Vickers will want to finish up ahead of Joe Barton in this one and give himself something to aim at Cadwell Park. Just up behind Joe Barton there is 88 Reese Hutchinson and Josh Leaning, number 121. Now, that other group of riders there, led by Lewis Osler, could just do with hanging on to the coattails of that leading pack. They're every bit as good as them, but they just beat each other up so much in the early stages of race 1 that they never had hope in hell of catching that group ahead. Let's see how they get on this time. There's James Butcher, 108. Just up ahead of number 31, Nick Clift. Big group of riders there. That's the thing in this championship. You make one small mistake, you could be out of the points altogether. And I can see there John O'Toole already trying to get into the slipstream. Back at the front though, it's Jodie Chalk. She has the advantage from Joe Barton. There's Reese Hutchinson, number 88, just up behind 321 Vickers. There's Josh Leaning, who ended up picking up the race win and absolutely delighted to do so as well, as we now break down into the Melbourne Loop. Ryan Vickers thought about a move up the inside of Joe Barton and repaying the favour, but Ryan Vickers can't really afford to throw anything away here. Joe Barton is the one with the 50-point lead. Sid's here with me in the commentary box. And Sid, I think what we witnessed in race 1 just goes to show you how exciting bike racing can be at times, how jaw-dropping, how unpredictable it can be as well. This championship, no matter what happens here, will go on to Cadwell Park.
And it's as cheap as you can get, Steve. That is the wonderful thing about this championship. Despite the fact that all the guys and girls go to great lengths to turn their bikes out in fabulous condition, you know, this is definitely the cheapest. Oh, and by the way, the tyres, we've got news on the tyres. We've tested them this weekend, or Joe Barton has, I should say. Tested a couple of new sets of the Dunlop Alpha 13 SPs, which are going to be new for next year. Give them the thumbs up, and it looks like it's go. So when you see the lap record falling this year, and you think, well, they can't get any quicker, the chances are they will do, because unofficially, and it is unofficial, Joe went faster on the new SP 13s, Alpha 13s, than the lap record.
Well, these guys already make their own lines as Joe Barton goes up ahead of Jodie Chalk. Are you telling me you're giving them more grip, more grip for this lot? Well, bring
And
it
for
on.
the same money, Steve. Hey, you heard it here first.
Ryan Vickers there. You could just see as Joe Barton went past Jody Chalk, he is desperate not to let Joe Barton out of his sights. He thought about an audacious move up the inside of Jody Chalk, and this time it looks like he might have just got it to stick. No, he's not. Barton remains out front from Chalk. Then it's Vickers in third place. Don't count out Josh leading in fourth, although he's looking over his shoulder quite a bit there in fourth. This might just be a three-way fight for the win as Jody Chalk goes out into the lead. She doesn't really care about these two in the championship. She doesn't care who wins. She wants to get the win herself. She is in third overall in this championship. And if you look at her points tally from the start of the year, when she went unnoticed, let's be quite honest, she has just gradually picked it up. If her points chart was in a graph, you would just see this steady climb all the way through the year that basically brings us to here, Donington Park, with 2 rounds to go, and she's leading the race ahead of Joe Barton and Ryan Vickers, who we're on board with now, coming through McLean's corner. How will this one turn out? 50 points the difference. Josh leaning in 4th place, not able to get in the mix this time around. There's a big group of riders again. You can see we're on board with Dave Grace now. He's going pretty hot into Coppice corner, but it works. He then gets into the slipstream of Lewis Osler just directly up ahead of him. James Butcher's on the right there as well, but you can't be caught napping in this game because number 125 Richard Molnar's now gone up past him. This is just brilliant stuff. Richard Blunt is at the front of that group. Not that you can see him at the moment because there's 5 or 6 riders distorting the view. There's Colin Mooney, 101, just up ahead of 15.
The old greyhound.
Daniel Capper, number 15. So he's gone through as well. Points make prizes for all of these guys. Cole Mooney, of course, looking to just try and do anything he can to prevent Dave Moss from winning the Senior Cup here at Donington. It looks like he's done enough to see it through to Cadwell, but he will need a bit of luck on his side when we get to Lincolnshire next month for him to really overpower Dave Moss to that trophy.
It's not that far away though, is it? You know, he does keep chipping away though, does Dave? I mean, he's had a fabulous weekend so far, hasn't he? But yeah, it's going to be tough for Cole, I reckon.
Leading freshman there on circuit, Sam Palfreman, number 333, just outside the points overall. Back to the front of this Crack Racing Thundersport500 race. As Sid mentioned, new Dunlops on offer for these guys next year. Lap records continue to tumble. When you think that a couple of years ago when Adam Shelton was racing in this class, we thought none of those lap records would ever be broken.
Oh, we did.
And they have been, and they've not just been broken, they have been torn apart by the 2016 Thundersport500s. Further back here is Cole Mooney, up ahead 15 and number 71, 15 Daniel Capper as you mentioned. Roddy Taylor is number 71. But here comes Joe Barton looking up the inside of Jody Chalk. He won't want to make the same mistake as he did in race 1, that's for sure, as Ryan Vickers now gets up alongside him. On board with Dave Grace further back as he pings off 1 into Coppice and now tries to get into the slipstream of James Butcher, but Molnar's having absolutely none of it. And look at the momentum that he's lost. Osler goes through, O'Toole goes through. O'Toole has just gone from the back of this pack all the way to the front of it, just down the back straight. Well, what's the point of me even talking about this race? Literally, from corner to corner, just completely go from one end of the field to another. Brilliant
I'm going to
stuff.
have to check if he's got a NOS bottle on there or not.
On board now, he got a quadruple slipstream, that's why he got through.
Yeah.
Ryan Vickers then on board with now as he goes up the inside of his foe, Joe Barton. Jody Chalk, well, if she had rear view mirrors, she would be smiling right now. Joe Barton there, having a look over his shoulder. He's basically saying, okay, is it just me and you, pal? Is it just us again? And I can tell you, at this moment in time, it looks like it might be, because Jody Chalk looks really comfortable out front. Joe Barton, what does he do? Does he sit behind Vickers for a little while, trying to bring them closer to Jody Chalk, or does he say, okay, this is my target, just to beat Vickers? Tough one to call. There's number 97, Lee Howarth, just up ahead of Dave Moss then, who leads in the Senior Cup as ever. Back up to McLean's, Jody Chalk in line here for a victory. She's not had a victory in Thundersport 500s as yet. She's been mighty close. She was second in race 1. She was, of course, on the podium in Anglesey as well.
Do you reckon these two, Ryan Vickers and Joe Barton are riding a bit, shall we say, nervously? I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult to weigh up, Steve.
I'll tell you one thing. I can't imagine that Joe Barton is on the top of Ryan Vickers' Christmas card list. That's for sure. After what happened in race 1, so psychologically, despite the fact the gap is quite big between these two, number 3, 2, 1, and number 1, and you'd certainly favour Joe Barton to win the championship given the points advantage he's got, but psychologically there could be a bit of damage done here. Vickers could do with finishing ahead of Barton, just though he's got that taste going into Cadwell for beating Barton over 3 of the 4 races. We're on board here with Dave Grace. Oh, and there's a massive crash up ahead. Massive crash, and there's 2 or 3 of them that have gone down at once there, and they're all pretty angry with each other. Nick Clift's in there, James Butcher and Lewis Osler. They all go down. Well, it was bound to happen. They're going in 3 or 4 abreast, and the red flag's out, and that will be declared. That will be declared, and Jodie Chalk's going to take the win. That's brilliant. Jodie Chalk has won the race here. Fantastic stuff for her. Her first ever victory, and no one is going to take that away from her. She thoroughly deserves it. A brilliant season, and that will be a popular win in the paddock. There's the carnage over at Goddard. Jodie Chalk wins from Ryan Vickers, who takes 2nd, Joe Barton in 3rd. Josh Leaney was 4th this time, with Reese Hutchinson 5th, and Richard Blood 6th. Top 3 then, well, what a moment for Jodie Chalk. One I'm sure she'll never forget, a fantastic win for her. Further back in the seniors, Dave Moss, the winner from Cole Mooney and Roddy Taylor. And in the freshmen, Sam Palfreman, the winner from George Davies and George Williams.
Well, I'm loving the T-shirt there. Phil Doody taught me everything I know. Well, of course, I think he taught the whole grid everything he knows, which is the sum total of very little, actually. But, well, I mean, that was another thrilling race. I mean, cut short, unfortunately, but wow, I mean, like, this championship ebbs and flows, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a shame it were really cut short. I mean, I felt comfortable in 2nd behind Jodie. She was setting a really good pace, and I thought any minute Ryan's going to come past me, so I need to be making a move on Jodie. I just couldn't find my way past, really struggling to get past her. Ryan got in front of me, and I thought, right, I'll let him do the hard work and get past Jodie, and maybe we can make a breakaway then. And then the red flags came out, so yeah, a little bit of a shame, sort of trying to have a plan for the end of the race, and now it's all gone wrong. So, well, these things happen, and it's just one of them things.
From what I understand, everybody's all right who went down. There's 3 went down there, but anyway, people to thank.
Yeah, lots of people to thank. Carbide Tooling Group, HB Motorcycles, Classic Race Replicas, Floor to Ceiling Fitted Furniture, Fisher's Mediocre Paint Jobs, everyone that's come to watch me, as well as loads here this weekend. So my dad, big thanks to my dad, the catering department, we'd be lost without him. Yeah, everyone that's come to watch, and obviously the man, the myth, the legend, Phil Doody.
Ryan, well, you've had an exceptional weekend, as to be said. Shame that race was cut short, because there was obviously 3 fallers there, and they called for a stop. But still, I mean, was that 3 wins and 1 second?
No, I had 2 wins, a DNF and then a 2nd in the end. But I wanted more, but I was disappointed about last race. But oh well, it happens, doesn't it? So.
That's racing, as they say.
Yeah, we'll come back stronger at Cadwell. Make sure I get the full house. That's what we're hoping for. But it's racing, I suppose, so anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, sometimes you fall, sometimes you win. It just goes backwards and forwards, doesn't it?
Yeah, it bounces between this, like, highs and lows quite easily, but we tend to try to keep on the highs, but yeah, we'll do our best.
And who have you got to thank?
Can I thank Chris Satcher at Satcher Racing, Whip Street Motors, Vickers Motors, Square Deal Storage, Breckland Finishing, Thetford Auto Parts, Vickers Action, SDF Transport, Mum and Dad, D&G Designs, and everyone that helps me. Thanks a lot, guys.
Jodie Chalk, top step of the podium. Wow, well done you. That was a phenomenal race. You had your head down and that was like, no, you're not catching me.
Well, do you want to know, son? It was a fantastic race. I'm disappointed that we didn't get the full race, and I really feel for Ryan and Joe, because there was a lot more racing to go there, but I'll take some confidence along to Cadwell.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, I don't know whether there was anybody who was catching you anyway. I mean, say, you were proper on it, weren't you?
I was definitely trying, definitely trying. You can't slow down with these boys. These boys have been on it from the get-go this weekend. They've been fantastic.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I'm really pleased for you. And you've got some people to thank, obviously.
Oh, number one's got to be my dad. He's put the team together. We've came here, we've overworked every single problem that we've got. So all the team, Phil Diddy, Pro Scott, just everybody at home watching for the support. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Sam, winning the Freshman's, got to be happy with that on TV Day.
Oh, brilliant. I can't ask for any more. It's been a brilliant weekend. I've had some really good results again, and yeah, I'm really happy with it.
And the rain stayed away.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I don't mind the rain because I ride at Donington quite a bit, so I'll be happy whichever the weather me.
Excellent. And people to thank, of course.
I've got a few. I've got my dad at Phoenix, Michael Lights. A big thank you to him. Ron Haslam race score. And then I've got my family with me today. I've got all the kids to thank, the wife, my mum, and then the Do kids that come and support me all the way around them all. Big thank you for them to come and support me.
Well done, Sam.
All right, cheers, thank you.
Dave, full house.
Full house, 4 out of 4. That'll do me. Can't get any better than that, can you? It's hard work, though. It's not easy. Yeah, more than happy with that. More than
and how much do you need to win the championship now?
I haven't a clue. I'm trying to work it out. People keep on saying, because I think Cole can get like 10 points in the next race. But I think it's going to go to Cadwell. It's got to go to Cadwell's racing, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Got to go with the wire, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got to go with the wire. It wouldn't be racing otherwise. It's boring.
One more race still to go. The Crank Racing Thundersport500 Cup race coming up next. Welcome to race 3 for the Crank Racing Thundersport500s here at Donington Park, the penultimate round of the Thundersport GB Championships for 2016. Matt Snow there, ready to get out and race here in this one. Andy Whale, number 149, and plenty of other familiar faces as well as some new ones as well. Orange vests denote the rookies here in this category. We're missing pole position, not quite sure why. Cole Mooney there on the right, number 101, as they get away from the line, and away they go. Also on that row 2 there was Jordan Ashington, and then they'll fly into turn 1, number 71, also Roddy Taylor, and up into the lead, into Redgate Corner. It looked like Roddy Taylor actually might have just pipped the whole shot as they got into turn 1. Now, it's race 3, not featuring the championship protagonists. We just have so many Thundersport500 riders that we want to make sure that as many as possible get as much racing as possible done. You can see there, sun certainly getting ready to set here at Donington Park, but not before this race is done and dusted. Matt Snow, I think, is on the lime green 500 it is that has got the lead. There he is, up ahead of Roddy Taylor. In third place then, with the orange bib on, is Jordan Ashington, number 194. Bradford. There's a familiar name, certainly Dave Bezic there, number 20. Nice to see Dave out having a play, but Matt Snow it is that has the advantage. In the background there, number 15 is Daniel Capper. Number 34 on that brightly coloured machine is Adrian Teasdale. And Adrian Teasdale is going around the outside into the Foggy S's, which is certainly big and brave. He managed to do that well. You're not going to miss him, are you? That is a bright coloured bike. That looks like an X-leaning machine that has been thrown up on with a load of yellow spots all over it. Sorry, Mr. Teasdale, that was a bit cruel of me. But hey, we like it here in the commentary box because we can certainly see it. A few wide lines being shown there from some of our rookies going down into the hairpin, but Matt Snow will lead at the end of lap 1 from Roddy Taylor. Matt Snow from Brigg on the Rat Out Racing Honda, and Roddy Taylor from Aldershot on the Taylor Racing Honda. You can see the clear visor there, see Roddy's eyes as he goes through. Further back, number 66, and Chris Jones. A number of freshmen and senior riders in this class. There's Elliot Humphrey, Brett Sanderson just going through there as well. Chris Satchwell, one of our Senior Cup riders. So both Cole Mooney and Chris Satchwell can actually score points here in the Senior Cup, and they have points that they need as well to close the gap on Dave Moss. Sid is here in the commentary box with me. Sid, you mentioned earlier on in race 2 and so often here in Thundersport 500s, I've certainly noticed on social media people actually asking if there are many of these bikes about. I understand that there aren't actually that many floating around, because I think most of Britain's Honda CB 500s are currently owned by Thundersport 500 riders.
Yeah, that's obviously why there's none left on the streets, that's for sure. They're all here in the Thundersport GB Championship.
In terms of bang for your buck, as we see here, Adrian Teasdale just making up a few places. People say it's cheap, but you know, how cheap are we talking? If you wanted to pick up a 500 and race it here at Thundersport GB, what are we looking? Are you going to get any change out of a couple of grand or 3 grand?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they have gone up quite dramatically. You used to be able to get hold of them for sort of 300 and 500 quid. But now, you could probably buy a whole race package, including rents on wheels, so on, for about 1,200, I reckon, about £1,200. Tyres are relatively cheap, they're $199 a set, subsidised, but I mean, you don't have to replace them like as often as you would say if you're on a 600. I mean, I know some people who've done sort of 3 or 4 race meetings on one set of tyres. I'm like, oh
dear.
Well, that's probably one way of doing it. Sort of save the wear on the tarmac, etc. But yeah, it's you know, it is an economical package. I mean, one of the great things is being able to pick up spares, and they are ready available. You know, if you have an engine go pop, for example, which is rare, but it happens, you know, you probably pick an engine up for a couple $100 quid, so it's not the end of the world. And you know, when they go down, you'll have the rest of the compatriots from around the paddock come and rebuild your bike for you. It's just really good camaraderie amongst the guys in the paddock.
Yeah, that's what I love about the Thundersport 500s, I think, more than anything else. Not just the close racing, but the fact that the vast majority get along really well off circuit, and most of them have become friends through the fact that they've been hunting around for spares to get their bikes ready to go out on circuit. And I'd probably say 95% are all willing to help each other.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
There might be the odd few that fancy sticking to their own game, but the vast majority are all very friendly, and provided you come along with a can of something and a few sausages for the barbecue,
exactly,
you're in
luck. Couple of beers, a few tinnies, whatever.
Around we go, the final corner and across the line. Well, this has been a good few laps for Adrian Teasdale, number 34, Senior Cup rider. He has found his way up towards the front of this one. We're on board here with Liam Kirk. Oh, and Liam Kirk there is just showing you how to do a pirouette around Goddard. Hopefully he's up and okay. He is the rookie. He will not be the first nor the last to do that around Goddard. It's ever so easy to do. Goddard's corner, for anyone that's not raced around here or been around there or walked around there, an ugly corner. Off camber, lots of scuff marks and dent marks where bikes have gone down. It's a great corner because, of course, it provides so much drama for you and I in a commentary box. But in terms of riding it, so easy to get wrong. Goddard's corner, and judging your speed right through there. So don't worry, Liam. Next time, I'm sure you'll have it nailed.
You mentioned Adrian Teasdale a little while ago, and you know, since he's come over from Golden Era Superbikes onto these, he's changed the look of his racing altogether. All I've seen is a big grin from ear to ear on his face. Look at old Roddy Taylor there. I mentioned him because he used to be a racer of old. Him and his brother, you know. His dad used to have a garage full of Nortons, old Nortons, and they used to go and race them in the 70s and 80s. And actually...
Oh! Sorry, Sid. We'll get back to that in a second, but they were 3 abreast there going into the Melbourne Loop. Somehow, they all come out the other side. Adrian Teasdale regains the lead. Roddy Taylor, who you were just talking about, Sid, back up into second.
Yeah, well, he won 3 Scottish championships of some kind, he was telling me. So way back he did really well, and I think in the 70s and 80s him and his brother used to enter on old Nortons that his dad used to be have loads of old Nortons in the garage, and I think one year they actually won every race and class lap record there was that year between them. So that was pretty fantastic. But he had an illness last year, and you know, his partner stood by him and everything. And when he came out of that illness, he thought, do you know what, I am going to do some racing again. And he looked at this, come along, had a look at what we were doing here, and he's gone for this now, and he's doing rather well, I think. This is his first race meeting with us.
I think he's doing very well at the moment, and he certainly has come back to race, because this is fascinating at the front of this one. There's a few points on offer to the Freshman and the Senior Cup. Other than that, there's a few trophies on offer, but they are all going for it here. Further back, you see number 105, Scott Gregg from Oakham. Number 20, Dave Bezic. Number 41 is Craig Cameron. But here is Roddy Taylor. Of course, it says he's from Aldershot in the programme, but with a Scottish flag on the front and a name like Roddy, it's unlikely that you're going to be actually born and bred in Aldershot. That's obviously where he resides. As we see here, Adrian Teasdale just coming under threat now as they head down into the hairpin, and that's Daniel Capper, who really gets aggressive as they go down into the Melbourne Loop. These three taking lumps out of each other here in the Thundersport 500 Cup. Don't count out Matt Snow and co. just up behind either. Roddy Taylor it is then that has the advantage as they make their way onto the start-finish straight. Daniel Capper now, the next rider that's putting on the charge, the rider from Middlewich on the Team BGC Honda. Here comes Matt Snow as well, number 70. He's got past Adrian Teasdale. So Matt Snow, the early leader from Brigg, got past Adrian Teasdale, number 34, the rider from Carlisle, on the vanglass.co.uk Honda. Capper then it is that leads, up ahead of Roddy Taylor. Taylor looking for a way past, can't quite find it at the moment. Group of 4 at the front, this Thundersport 500 Cup race, then a short gap back to the rest of the pack. Don't forget at the end of this race as well, we'll get a glimpse of the overall Thundersport 500 Championship standings after 4 brilliant races this weekend between Joe Barton and Ryan Vickers for the title. They will scrap it out at Cadwell for the glory there. And here in this Thundersport 500 Cup race, number 15, Daniel Capper it is with the advantage. Just in the background there you can see Cole Mooney and like Andy Whale as well, just next to him. They're closing up on this group as well. Make our way through the chicane. Adrian Teasdale looking to get every last inch of power out of his Honda that he can. They break down into the Melbourne Loop. That's close. The block pass there from Adrian Teasdale. They just don't care, do they? This lot, they'll use each other to stop into hairpins. And it is getting really messy now. Up in towards the Melbourne Loop and around the outside for Adrian Teasdale. What a brilliant move. It just seems that whenever Adrian Teasdale decides he wants to turn it on, he'll just find any which way to get past someone into every single corner on this circuit. Roddy Taylor there in second place, not for long. Third to first for Daniel Capper. These three, you wouldn't really want to put your money on which one of these guys is going to pick up the spoils here. Matt Snow looks a threat as well. There's number 59. It's Brett Sanderson just up ahead of Elliot Humphrey, number 2. But Capper it is that leads. Defensive line. Teasdale going the long way round. He doesn't care whether it's inside, outside, on the grass. Teasdale will find a way through. Andy Whale getting closer. Matt Snow still in the mix as well. Roddy Taylor, you can't count him out completely. Andy Whale has come from a long way back actually to get himself up into that place, number 149. Up behind 71 Roddy Taylor now, and Cole Mooney very much a part of this gaggle as well. There's what, 6, 7 riders? 6 riders in fact that are fighting this out. They're about to come past the back marker. Background there as well, number 66, Chris Jones now wants to try and close in and have a play in the final few laps. Roddy Taylor outbreaks Andy Whale. It's Matt Snow just for the back of place on this lap. Now then, this is where all the action normally happens. Adrian Teasdale will not be content with second place, so he takes the tightest physical line possible I've ever seen in through the Melbourne Loop. Manages to go up into the lead, runs wide. That leaves Daniel Kappa to go through. Now into Goddard's we go. Some new lines being invented here, Sid.
I think so, yeah. I'm going to have to congratulate Adrian on his lines. They're absolutely amazing, but they seem to be working, kind of.
Well, let's see what happens here in the closing stages of this one. Daniel Kappa it is. It has the lead over Teasdale, Taylor, and Matt Snow. Chris Jones, number 66, has done really well to get to the back of this group, and you've got to feel that he'll have a lunge somewhere to try and get into the top 5 in the closing stages. Adrian Teasdale lining up a move now, trying to at least to get up with Kappa, and he is close. Matt Snow there in 4th place, Andy Whale as well. This is really interesting stuff here. These 4 have got to be careful not to lose touch of the leading group, and again new lines being created there from Adrian Teasdale as he tries to find a way past Roddy Taylor around McLean's and up towards Coppice Corner now. Half a lap left here in this Thundersport 500 Cup race. Kappa has done well so far to hold on to it, but for how much longer as they make their way down the Dunlop Straight into the slipstream they go, and on the right there you can see Roddy Taylor trying desperately to become a part of this leading group. They now come into the Foggy S's, and Adrian Teasdale's got to go the long way round, but that won't matter. He does it. He uses all the curbs as well, and through he goes. Adrian Teasdale, desperate to win this race. He now takes a defensive line into the Melbourne Loop. What's happened to Daniel Kappa? He's got his arm up. Something's just happened to Daniel Kappa. Not sure what's happened. It's red flags. Red flags are out. The race has been stopped, and I'll tell you what, Daniel Kappa will be crowned winner. He will, because it will go back a lap. And Daniel Kappa has taken it. Shows you how important it is to cross that line first at times. He wins from Teasdale, Taylor, Matt Snow, Andy Whale and Cole Mooney. And there you see the top 3, Kappa, Teasdale and Taylor on the podium. Now, championship standings overall, 46 in it between Joe Barton and Ryan Vickers with 4 races left at Cadwell Park. Jodie Chalk has moved up into 3rd. She's done really well there ahead of Pete Bardell. Thundersport 500 Seniors, David Moss really could get that wrapped up in the first race at Cadwell ahead of Cole Mooney and Chris Satchwell. Let's have a look at the Freshmans. It is Sam Palfreman in charge, but only just as we head into the final round. 19 points he has over George Davies.
Roddy, 3rd place. You must be well chuffed.
I'm well impressed. Fantastic result. What a race this Thundersport racing is. This is my first weekend in Thundersport, first weekend out in a CB, and this is only my 2nd race in 26 years. So to come back in at this level, race against these guys, and they gave me a good bit of space, so whether they knew I was a bit rusty or not, I'm not very sure, but fantastic guys to race against. What a brilliant series. Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Very kind words indeed. I think it might be the fact that somebody put L plates on your back.
It wouldn't have surprised me. Let me just check for that.
26 years, wow. Well, that's fantastic, and let's hope it spurred you on to do more. And because it's a great series, and I mean, there is no greater series than this 500s. These Thundersport 500s are amazing. Have you got anyone you want to thank?
Susie, number 1 mechanic, who's got me here. It's been a bit of a journey. Had a bit of ill health last year. Finished radiotherapy exactly at this time last year, and I used BMF to get me fit, so they got me prepared for what I had to do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next year, guys, so bring it on.
Adrian, I actually thought you were going to have that because I saw you at the front, and I thought, oh my...
What's that mean? Was I leading before? I don't know. Never mind. Fantastic. That was just the best race I've had for absolutely ages. We've had problems with our bike all weekend once again, and I thought it was me. And at the last minute we said, I'll just pull the carbs off and have a look. And we'd missed the spring out of the carbs when we put them back together, and it's been rubbish all weekend. So I qualified wrong, and I was down on times, and it was fun. That was just where I wanted to be, and it was so much fun swapping paint. It was just backwards and forwards. Just what I started to do in the first place.
But that's what it's all about, isn't it? And you know, this is what you need.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Got the heart going anyway.
That's what you want, you see. It's therapy as well, though.
Absolutely amazing.
So, have you got people to thank?
Yeah, Jono, definitely. Jono helped me fix the carbs before. Robert Racing Lines, who's been parked next to us all weekend, has been really helpful with bits. Sue, who comes with me and helps me, makes me food and keeps me right. My company, which is Van Glass, KC Superbikes, and all the other people that helped me along the way.
Daniel, that was a proper scrap, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah, it was, yeah. It was a good old race, like.
Yeah, you enjoyed it, obviously, and how long have you been doing the Thundersport 500? Just this year?
Year and a half now, yeah. I did a few last year, and then I've done a few this year, so yeah, it's definitely the best racing out there. Like I said, well, I can't compare it to anything, but it's good racing. Like, it is good racing.
Well, no racing's cheap, we know that, but it's the cheapest you can get, isn't it?
Oh, well, I've bought my tyres at the start of the year, my Dunlops, and I'm still on them now. So, and I've no intention of swapping them for Cadwell. So, they've done a good few meetings. Like, I moaned about the Dunlops same as everyone did, but now they're a good tyre. They crack on. Like,
yeah. Well, we've got new ones coming next year, strangely enough, the SP model. But have you got some people to thank?
Yeah. Thank my dad, John Capper. He's been mint, always supporting me in my racing. Like, always helped me, taught me how to ride properly and not just go out there and kill myself. John O'Perry, he's always been there by my side, helping me out as well. All the lads at KLM. And I want to say it's in memory of my Uncle Brian, who passed away last year, a couple of years ago now, sorry. When we started racing, I always ride in memory of him. He's an absolute legend, and that's about it, mate. Yeah.
Excellent, great win, great way to go home, and some dashboard bling on the way home.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a good race that. Yeah, I need to wind down now and go bed. It's been a long way for the race.
Well done, Daniel.
Nice one. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
Brilliant racing as ever from the 500s, but we leave here Donington Park and we'll join you for the final round of Thundersport GP at Cadwell next month.